today's episode, we talk about how episode numbers are Rosie's fatal flaw, as evidenced by the episode number she gives me. She gives me 178. It's not, it's 179. You'll see that blooper coming up after the introduction. Guys, today I talk about how one can develop practices and rituals to develop their own level of self-love so that you can do your life's best work in a sustainable way where you are looking after and building on who you are each step of the way. Another exciting announcement is Unwritten is now out for pre-order. You can pre-order your copy. You can also buy tickets to the book launch, which is coming up. You can do that all at reinvent-tomorrow.com. The link will come up. Let's get into it.
28 and I'm trying to shape history, pulling from the sky for some strength to take with me, line up the stars, fly away quickly and push the world forward like a tidal wave hit me. I ride the wave swiftly, I fear no man, check my titles mate quickly, came from the sky with the light of day in me and grew my own wings.
Checkity check, checkity check, yes I am singing checkity check. If you tuned in for nothing else, I think people must get value from my singing.
I disagree. I get value from it.
Love the support around here. I get value from Thanks, Rosie. I love you.
Okay.
Alrighty, what episode is this?
Oh my gosh, I've forgotten. Oh, it's 178. It's 178.
Rosie,
Sorry.
the episode numbers.
It's kind of like my fatal flaw. I really struggle because I'm too excited about what we're talking about that I.
So 178.
Yeah, 178.
What are we talking about? What's the question?
Okay, so today's question comes from Aaron Burstow.
Aaron.
Commented on Facebook. Hey Jack, do you have any advice on developing a wholehearted sense of worthiness? This question is in line with Ben Brown's TED speaker's suggestion that there were people who believe... Oh, Brené Brown. Sorry.
Brené Brown.
Oh, it says Ben Brown.
Sorry, Brené.
Sorry.
Rosie just made you mad.
Okay. I felt like it sounded weird when I said it, but I just went with it. So anyway, Brené Brown's suggestion that there were people who believe they are worthy of love and connection and those who struggle for it.
So what was the question?
I was going to ask, okay, do you have any advice on developing a wholehearted sense of worthiness?
That's such a good question. Yes. Do I have any advice on developing a wholehearted sense of worthiness? Yes. Firstly, let me talk to the concept. And, I put this down. I call this self-love, right? And I think self-love is a very misunderstood subject because some people, particularly from afar, and particularly if you haven't explored the subject, some people can mistake self-love for arrogance or conceit, right? And self-love isn't arrogance or conceit. Often arrogance or conceit is the first signs of a lack of self-love, right? A true self-love. And self-love is so important. And well, let me define what I mean by self-love in tangible terms. Do you speak to yourself and treat yourself like you would your best friend, right? Is my definition of self-love. So most of us, when we make a mistake, we'll beat ourselves up, talk down to ourselves, tell ourselves we should never have tried in the first place. Just filming, guys. We'll talk ourselves out of ever trying again, right? In which case, you're not treating yourself with a degree of self-love because you're actually talking yourself out of stepping up and stepping into your best self, right? And so when you make a mistake, do you coach yourself the way you would a best friend? When a relationship ends for you, do you coach yourself the way you would a best friend? When you're nervous and you're stepping into something that's, a little bit scary and exciting for you, do you coach yourself the way you would a best friend? So just in those very small practical examples, they all coalesce into forming essentially your self-identity and then how you treat yourself. If there was one determinant as to how much joy and fulfillment and success you create in life, I would suggest that the number one determinant is your self-identity. And when we break self-identity down, it's often how do you treat yourself and how do you talk to yourself in moments that require you to treat and coach yourself the way you would a best friend, right? So it's in this, like just these minute distinctions, they might sound really small, but they're not. These minute distinctions will ultimately form the basis, I think, as to how much happiness you will have throughout life. And I know that sounds like a really big statement. However, if you follow it through, like if you take happiness, you take it and you follow it back, you trace it back to where does the butterfly need to flap its wings in order to create that tidal wave? Where does something small need to change in order to create happiness and fulfillment in your life? I think it starts with self-love, which is found in the examples that I've given you. How do you develop it, being this particular question? How do you develop it? Firstly, just by being conscious and aware of it, right? Just by having this conversation, you start to think differently, because most people beat themselves up, most people beat themselves to a pulp, and they're not actually aware that they're even doing it. Right? And so just by being aware of the pattern and being aware of how the patterns can coalesce into something far greater, you will catch yourself and retrain yourself to coach yourself in a more effective way, treat yourself in a more effective way. The second thing is to take time for you. And you guys have heard me talk about happiness strategies a lot, right? I think to develop love is not, sitting around telling yourself how amazing you are, is to treat yourself the way you would treat somebody that you genuinely love. And the act of doing it can often build the art of feeling it. So, happiness strategies. Do you take time out for you? And, I was talking at a conference for sort of mum entrepreneurs recently, and I was talking to them about journaling. And one of them put their hand up and said, Jack, when would I get the time to journal? I don't pee by myself. Meaning she's carrying a baby the whole time, right? And so, according on your lifestyle, your position, your responsibility, whether you're a mother, whether you're a father, will determine the degree and the time you can allocate towards all of these. But yes, I do expect that anybody should be able to find at least 10 minutes a day for themselves. If it's not 10 minutes a day, make it 10 minutes every couple of days, right? Obama trains every day, right? Obama trains every day. I know a lot of mothers, I know a lot of first-time mothers, I know a lot of first-time single mothers that find 5 or 10 minutes to journal or meditate every day. So yes, and I understand, I get the realities. Although I'm not a mum, obviously I can appreciate the realities. I have thought through the realities. You can find the time, even if it's with your baby, right? You can do the journaling. So I think you develop self-love by behaving and acting in alignment with your own happiness. I'll say that again. Behaving and acting in alignment with your own happiness, which means trying to honor yourself to the degree where even if it's 5 or 10 minutes a day, doing stuff that rejuvenates you. That might be meditating. If you're a first-time mum, that might be sleeping, right, for 10 minutes in the afternoon. If you can give the baby to someone else for that particular 10 minutes, whatever it might be. It might be jogging, it might be exercising, it might be cooking, it might be time with your partner, it might be time away from your partner. It could be anything, right? But you develop self-love by acting and thinking in alignment with your own happiness. And don't underestimate the importance of it, because those thought patterns, those actions, those behaviors that you can ritualize, coalesce to create something called your self-identity, which is the main determinant as to how you live your life, in my view. Okay. Question for you guys. Of all of you watching, how many of you take time? Doesn't need to be every day, but take time on a ritualized basis. So on a regular basis, you take time for you, and what do you do? What is the number one principle or the number one action or the number one behavior you do on a regular basis to demonstrate that you are looking after yourself? In the comments below, I will be there. That was an awesome question. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the comments below, guys, and the questions. I'll be there. Let's have that conversation.
So what that means